United Matters channel. How are you guys? This video has been pending for like the last 12 hours, right? But I've gone ahead, obviously, get back, and I'm here to bring you the latest news and information as far as all this is concerned. This is the United Matters channel. I hope you guys are really doing fine. And we're here to bring you the latest news and information as far as all this is really concerned. And it's all about talking Manchester United. We all know that a lot is really happening around the club of Manchester United, right? A lot is really happening, and I want to let you know that it's not gonna be the same like it has been ever since these people really came in through to obviously take over the club of Manchester United. Which people am I talking about? I'm talking about the people called Ineos. Talking about Ineos. You all know that Ineos has found itself in a very tough position because they are really looking at other managers and they want to keep the options open, and it's like they're interviewing other managers and the whole is really going on as to plan. But I tell you what, it is not the same with Erik Ten Hag, because Erik Ten Hag has gone ahead to decide to obviously end his trip or his holiday to return at Old Trafford to come out and obviously get a full resolution on what Ineos is really thinking about his future onto this channel known as the United Matters channel. We are here to bring you the latest news and information as far as everything is concerned, and let's see close to 300 likes in this video. Don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead obviously put out lots and lots of stories today, and to do the needful as we really keep on the going into the mix. So where should we start from? Tell me. Oh, I write the show, right? The show is mine, and obviously let's get into this mix. Let's talk about this guy known as Erik Ten Hag, and here we come in peace to obviously discuss this. We thank God for the gift of life, and we thank God for the gift of life. The Muslims, Barakallahu fikum, and may the living to God bless you abundantly in there for you. Now, this is where we are at. A story was put out by Luton Times. He's called Matt Luton. He's a chief sports correspondent for the Times. He told us that Erik Ten Hag has now returned from his holiday. And we all know that Erik Ten Hag was meant to be there for like 4 weeks, but because of the situation happening at the club of Manchester United, he had to cut all his holidays short, and he made sure that he is really here to obviously talk to the Glazers and to talk to these people and really understand what the plan is for him and Manchester United, because he doesn't want to obviously have those plans for Manchester United, yet Ineos is not really planning for him to stay at the club of Manchester United. He has gone ahead to return at the club of Manchester United, and he has gone ahead to put out a lot of information in there to say to it that a lot goes his way as the person responsible for this beautiful club of Manchester United. With his stats and everything, he believes the perfect man for the job, and Ineos should obviously come in through and make it clear. Yesterday, we obviously came in through and obviously offered you a story that Ineos talks with the guy called Tuchel went ahead to fail flat, and he couldn't obviously get this guy to where he believes the team is supposed to be. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his team are really trying to really make a best decision for Manchester United. In what I think, they are trying to make the worst decision for the club of Manchester United, because if they had a very good heart for the club of Manchester United and they know what they are doing, first and foremost, they would have gone ahead to obviously tell the technical director and the sporting director to tell Erik Ten Hag the style of play they've gone ahead to agree on to play at the club of Manchester United. And it's simple. Ask Erik Ten Hag, can you really coach this style of play? And Erik Ten Hag will tell you yes, because he has shown us that he's a versatile manager. When it comes to money to possess the ball when he's having his players, he can possess it. When it becomes to hitting teams on the counter, he can do it. Playing while parking the bus, he can do it. Now, there is no style of football that Erik Ten Hag can't play. He can play literally every kind of game, and this is what they should obviously base on to understand that we are having a manager who is really good at his job and we need to keep him here forever. Now, after that, they ask him that if you can really deliver that, we are going to keep you here, but we are going to sign players that we feel fit into that system. And Erik Ten Hag won't say no to that. Why? While he was at Ajax, the same thing was happening to him. He had two people ahead of him, the CEO Edwin van der Sar and the director of football, that is Mark Overmars, who obviously brought in players and scouted players, and they told him, we've gone ahead to scout such and such a player. He looks good. Can we really work something great out of him? They agreed together as a trio and they brought in the players at the side of Ajax. That's why Ajax went ahead to make a lot of money. From that first phase that Erik Ten Hag went ahead to build, for example, Matthias de Ligt, Donny van de Beek, Frankie de Jong, Riyad Mahrez, there are other players that I cannot even imagine over my head because it's nearly some good years. And then this other phase he went ahead to build that had Mazurui, Tagliafico, Lisandro Martinez, Julian Timber, Edison Alvarez, Gravenbach, Anthony, Broby, and very many others. He had some good crop of players that went ahead to build. So for me, I don't think that will be a problem with Erik Ten Hag, but what Ineos are really doing, it's like they want to make themselves popular. That is it. They want to make themselves popular because there is no way you can come out and really sound that this manager is going to be sacked. Yet, we had some bad performances in March, April, and you've been silent about the situation, right? Towards the end of the season, you try to obviously show to it that you want to make the best. If they wanted to make the best, they would have gone ahead obviously do the needful and really pronounce this in the due course of the season, because there was a reason for fans to obviously be behind them. As fans of Manchester United were like, all right, we want to obviously see this manager sacked because of his performances, you understand? And they would have gone ahead to win hearts of many. But towards the end of the season, even before Man United went ahead to win the FA Cup, fans were like, we should be here. The man is right, because he has always said when he has his best players, he can play the best football ever at the club of Manchester United. And this is where they've gone ahead to lose it. And it's also known to him that the fans are really wanting to really keep Erik Ten Hag. And this was also put out and quoted. And I said, who am I not obviously throw it onto for my people that watching this channel? And Sam Matby came out and said the following, that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is aware Ten Hag still has plenty of support from the fans and must decide whether he could prosper in the new look structure which is being put in place at the club. So this is very important to know, that the club of Manchester United is speaking a different language altogether. So do the fans of Manchester United. They are speaking a different language altogether from the language that Ineos is really speaking. And if you're Erik Ten Hag, that's what you will obviously want to hear. I tell you, that's what you'll obviously want to hear, because you don't want to obviously find yourself in a position of not really having the fans backing you. And I think that's what exactly is making him feel like, I have the audacity to even cut my holiday short to return and obviously start to plan for the club of Manchester United, because these fans have gone ahead to back me and I shouldn't really disappoint them. And he's doing the needful. That is the man himself, known as Erik Ten Hag. So I just love what he's going to do as a man. He has put in a lot, and I tell you what, he's really one of those that you'll never underestimate for what he has gone to achieve in life. So for me, Erik Ten Hag is the guy, and the fans have gone ahead to stand with him, you get, and nothing is really going to stop him from obviously achieving what he's supposed to achieve, either for Manchester United or for any other club. Because when you look at Manchester United, even if they sack him, I tell you, I've predicted this. You get, if he's sacked at Man United, hear me out, this guy is gonna become the next manager of Man City, because it's rumored Pep Guardiola is not gonna stay at Man City. That is it. You know, he's not gonna stay at Man City. You understand? That's what we've gonna hit to gate from our sources, that Pep Guardiola is wanting out of Man City, left with United on his contract, and is not willing to obviously renew his contract at Man City, meaning that he's really gonna be leaving the side of Man City. And if Erik Ten Hag gets sacked by Man United, I tell you, Man City will obviously, get in this man and tell him, please, the guy is gonna really be not retaining his stay at Man City, and he wants out, and he want to obviously see you as the next manager for the club of Man City. And I tell you what, he's not gonna say no. He's not gonna say no. He'll be like, all right, let's obviously get it on, and I'm gonna be the replacement of Pep Guardiola. And Man City, the hierarchy of Man City will obviously love it, because this is the manager that has been managing Manchester United, and they would like to inflict pain onto Manchester United with our own manager that we went ahead to obviously say he's not worth it and he cannot obviously make it. You understand? So that is what I'm really anticipating, and Manchester United should obviously be what we call street smart. They just need to be street smart and really know that it's not ending where they think it is. This is one of the best managers in the world, and it's going to be the next big thing, and we are having him in our hands, and you're trying to obviously undermine his efforts. That is really the worst that we are doing for this manager, that is Erik Ten Hag. And for Ineos, they should obviously look through themselves, because if they don't, that will be one of the huge red flags that they will never at any one point, that anything is really gonna come up and favor Erik Ten Hag. So the fans are behind Erik Ten Hag, and he will never go behind those fans. And remember, when we are going to play the FA Cup final, after playing, and I think we beat Newcastle, right? After beating Newcastle, he came up and obviously get hold of that microphone, and he told the fans that next week, because we played that game before we played Brighton away, that was our last home game, he got hold of the microphone and he said, next week, I promise you, these players are gonna go to Wembley and they're gonna return back with a trophy. You understand? And by him saying so, the players went ahead to obviously deliver it, and the trophy is now at Old Trafford. And I tell you, at the beginning of the season, Man United will really introduce this trophy to the fans of Manchester United at Old Trafford. That is it. So I don't want to hear anyone coming out and saying that the Glazers and Ineos are doing something. What they're doing is stupid. I've gone ahead to hear some people say it's because of financial reasons. It's not all about financial reasons. You get? These people are just trying to make themselves popular. That is it. And they are trying to buy out time, like they want to obviously come out here and make it known to many that they were considering everyone. I've gone ahead to see Fabrizio Romano, go ahead to obviously put out a post. It was not a post. He has been on to what we call the United stand. He has come out and said that Ineos are considering all options. So they are keeping all options open. You get that? Keeping Erik Ten Hag and maybe looking in for his replacement. And how do you keep all options open and you're saying you want to sack Erik Ten Hag? This is a two-way traffic, and it is gonna divide into the media. You get? I love one man known as David Austin, who came out and said it doesn't really make sense for them to sack Erik Ten Hag and replace them with Tuchel or any of the managers available. That's what he said. And it is really one of those moments that Erik Ten Hag is really gonna get where he deserves to be. So, and there is a story that I want to add on to here again about this guy, and this is Oliver Kay. He said this about the ongoing situation at the club of Manchester United, even to consider such contrasting figures as Southgate, De Zerbi, before ending up in deep negotiations with Tuchel suggests a severe lack of clarity on the part of Ratcliffe and company, as if the only certainty in their mind is they want rid of Ten Hag. Now, if they wanted to get rid of Erik Ten Hag, that's what they're gonna hate to do first. That is it. And I understand that most of you will agree with me as to how, as to why these people are really acting like this. Because you can't be talking to other managers, doing interviews, and you are having your manager there. You can't. That happens when they've gone ahead to sack a manager. That is it. All after, that can happen in the due course of the season, when you're telling the manager that we are going to part ways, but all I promise you is you are going to end the season. After the end of the season, you are going to get sacked. But these are people who are really not doing anything. And I tell you, clarity will soon come to light. I tell you. So, Erik Ten Hag is really being treated not in the best way, but there is something that is really running in my mind. Why is Erik don't really forsake yourself from not really sending us those chats? Continue to obviously send them in, and you're going to be here to obviously be discussing them in the next minutes, such that obviously give you the best that you guys deserve. Erik Ten Hag knows exactly what is happening at Man United, and I tell you what, he's not really going to look back. He's going to be one of those people that is going to come out and obviously feel like he has safety. What is going to live at Man United is really unreal, and what problems have gone ahead to be taking in place, because ever since he came in through, he has never gone ahead to obviously be into what we call a composed environment, like when the atmosphere is really at ease and everything is really moving on as to plan. So Fabrizio Romano has again told us when he was onto the United stand today that in the next days, the next hours, we expect Manchester United to make a decision on Erik Ten Hag. This has been something we've gone ahead to expect for a very, very, very long time, and we're eagerly waiting for this announcement. And even if it comes in through, when it's not in favor of the manager, I'll be like, all right, that's the decision they've gone ahead to take, and we have nothing to obviously stop it. You understand? So, Manchester United has all what it takes to obviously make their decision on Erik Ten Hag, and we're waiting to see how their decision is actually going to be made. But Erik Ten Hag is really a humble man. He has gone ahead to keep himself into into a situation of really being hopeful to see to it that all goes on as to plan. But we wait to see what this week is going to be offering for the club of Manchester United, because we are losing out on signings. There is a second story I'm obviously bringing it in up here for you that is going to shock you all about the man called Olise, as to how Manchester United is really losing out onto Olise. So, everything is a mess. Everything is a mess at the club of Manchester United. And I tell you, no one loves to be in such a mess. And if I told you a manager, you wouldn't like to start off next season when you are in this trouble as Erik Ten Hag. And I think he'll call for clarity. And why is he going to hit obviously coming through to obviously put himself in a situation of really questioning what we call his future at Manchester United by arriving early, right? By really returning early from what we call his holiday, because for any person he would love to be on his holiday for a very long time, not so? But the moment someone cuts his holiday short to come in through and obviously face Ineos, that means there is a very huge face-off that is going to be happening in between Erik Ten Hag and the side of Ineos, because he's a no-nonsense man. He will be like, let's get this done and dusted, right? And he's not going to really accept this nonsense to obviously be occurring at the club of Manchester United. And I'm always here really refreshing my Twitter feed to see whether there is a breaking story about Fabrizio Romano, about this guy known as Erik Ten Hag. But all in all, nothing has gonna obviously be made, and we're here to really see to it that we bring you the best of information. Nothing has gonna to come up so far, so there is nothing fresh about Erik Ten Hag's future. But all in all, we tell you a lot will happen in the next days. Even before today comes to the elapse, we might see lots of things coming in through here at the club of Manchester United on the update of Erik Ten Hag. Now, Let's obviously have Sese, what's up already? Abraham, Izeng, Ineos back Erik Ten Hag. If not, you guys are a bunch of hypocrites. Obviously, they will be for they don't back him. They're a bunch of hypocrites. We are having Charlie Mazabuka David. Ineos has not met with any managers. They have said nothing regards to sacking Erik Ten Hag. Guys, do you doubt the information that is coming in through from the likes of Fabrizio Romano? For me, I don't really doubt it. I know it's really true and it's really right about what they are saying. And I tell you what, it's not going to end there. You understand? It's not going to end there. And they are going to keep pushing to the last man. Not until they believe that they're going to have to come up to the right decision. Because they're really unsaid. It's like having a woman at home when she went ahead and cheated and fell in love with a man. You know? Do you think she will stop cheating? She won't. She won't. And the best decision is to part ways. So, not until she gets what she wants there, that's when she'll stop. And that's what Ineos are doing. Dimeji Abihoje, we want Erik Ten Hag to remain. Alara, Daniela, smash the like button. Yeah, smash the like button, guys, like no other. Smash it, guys, and let's smash it 100 times. P. Humble, we are tired and sick of hearing endless stories about Erik Ten Hag. Always hesitate to listen whenever alerts pop up here. Ineos aren't business oriented when it comes to sports, and so need to quiet stupidity. So I understand. I'm also fed up. Guys, I would have gone ahead once to be here doing stories like United are in advanced talks with Olise. United are planning a medical for Yao Neves. Man United are in for Todibo. They've gone ahead to beat Chelsea for such and such a player, or Arsenal, or they've gone ahead to beat Man City and Arsenal on Bruno Guimaraes. Those are the kind of stories I want to be making in here. It's not in my interest that I want obviously come in here and really put out such stories. Nara. That's not in my DNA, and I wouldn't like to be doing it that way. But we are forced to come into this situation because of Ineos and their delayed decisions. I've sounded this. I don't want Erik Ten Hag to be sacked. I don't want it. But if at all they believe it's right, then why don't they do it imminently? Because we are fed up of this. We are entering into the third season of the summer transfer window, and Ineos are really lagging behind like a snail. Christine Nabawanuka, I like Erik Ten Hag for real. All right, thank you for loving Erik Ten Hag. Daniela, 100%. Happy Chris Aradi. Thanks for the great work, bro. I think let's wait for Ineos' decision because we have discussed a lot about Erik Ten Hag. But news about Erik Ten Hag will never stop to drop. And I tell you, by the time I end this video, you know, there will be news coming in through about Erik Ten Hag. So you cannot stop talking about Erik Ten Hag. You can't, because he is the talk. He is the real thing that is being discussed right now. Danyara, Pep earmarked Pep Guardiola to be City manager before we got him. Fact. Yeah. And don't be surprised if at all he becomes the new manager of Man City, if at all United sacks him. And how do you sack a manager who Man City wants, Barcelona wants, and Bayern Munich, unless you are really naive about managing the game of football? But if at all you're really competent and you're really informed and you are really prudent about doing the job you're doing, there is no way you get rid of a manager that is really hot cake to very many other teams. Smash the like button, alright. Then Edish Cahill, keep Ten Hag. He's won 2 out of 3 trophies. Right. That's what Erik Ten Hag is going to have to do. And I tell you, if you win the Carabao Cup, when you look at his sequence, it's really ascending from the Carabao Cup to an FA Cup, meaning that this coming season, he will either win a Premier League or he win a UEFA Europa League. So he's a man who is really wanting to win trophies, and that's what he wants to do the whole of his career. That's why at the end of the FA Cup game, he told the media that you are really asking questions about his future, on whether he feels offended. He said, no, I don't feel agitated. All I know is that I've been winning trophies for Manchester United. I'm willing to stay at Manchester United and win trophies for them. But if they don't want me here, I'll leave Manchester United, go elsewhere and win trophies. That's what he said. And he'll do it because I really love the charisma of this manager. That is Erik Ten Hag. Eddie Cahill well said, bro, thank you for watching him through. Danyara, with the full team, Ten Hag will have us challenging for all cups. You are right, and you are spot on. I agree with you, bro. That is Eddie Cahill. Danyara, come on. 30 likes. We need more. 30 are really little. We need more and more and more and more in there for you. Then David Sir, that's the problem. They shouldn't care about fans' opinions when hiring staff, because the Glazers listened to fans, sacked Moyes, Mourinho, and Louis van Gaal, and then kept Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for 3 seasons. You get? So all you want to do is, this guy should start listening to the fans of Manchester United. And this is the voice, it's a common voice. If 80% of the fans want to keep the manager, why do you have to sack the manager? And why do you have to make the manager go through all this pain of really sitting down there, having one leg at Manchester United and another outside Old Trafford? So you can't be doing that if at all you think you're competent. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe, come on, you are doing total shit. You get? What you are doing is really anti-football. And you had all the time. Remember, they had 18 months to purchase the club of Manchester United. There is nothing they didn't know about this club, you know. And on top of that, they started coming at Old Trafford, you know, in December, and Carrington. So you tell me that you did nothing concerning the managerial situation from January, February, March, April, May, you know, 5 months, and you did nothing. That shows that you're incompetent, because if you are competent about the job you're doing, you would have gone ahead to know that by the time we play the FA Cup, by the time the season comes to an end for the club of Manchester United, we would have gone ahead, obviously, make up a decision. And surprisingly, the decision they made up of sacking Erik Ten Hag backfired when he won what we call the FA Cup. You understand? So it backfired, and they're now trying to obviously get things back to the default mode, something that won't come easy in there. Then Diara Chizoba, good evening everyone, and RD Adepare Opeyemi. What is the problem of Ineos? I think they're egoistic, and Erik Ten Hag is the man who keeps his word, and they don't want obviously be having a manager like Erik Ten Hag. The owner of Manchester United are not serious. That is Chizoba. Olbrey Hachilala, already thanks for the news. Erik Ten Hag will stay. I'm also really optimistic that he's gonna stay. Kano Jibri, Erik Ten Hag is good for Man United. Job, love him. All right, thank you for loving Erik Ten Hag. And Chizoba, that is the fans, we are not happy. Other clubs are making improvements, are hijacking players on free agents. What's going on with Man United? Shit. You know, the next player we are losing is Olise. But for me, let me just give you a snippet of what I'm going to tell you in the next video, because I'm going to upload it like in 2 hours time from now after streaming this video about Olise. For me, if at all Olise goes, I'm not going to get bothered. But for Tosin, I was bothered when he went to Chelsea, because he's a defender outside there, very cheap. You know, we can get him and obviously reinforce our central defense. But we went ahead to make a late talk to obviously sign him. And because of the managerial situation in the club of Manchester United, we couldn't win the battle over Chelsea. That is it. Oluport Charles, there are even not good managers that can replace Ten Hag. Those Ineos are just wasting their time instead of planning for transfers. Yeah. I tell you, they are really bad planners, because I told you what makes any leader, you know, a standout leader, it's how he really stands on his words. A leader, when he says, I'm going to sack Erik Ten Hag by the end of the season, he sacks him, pays him off, and he quits. I'm having some reports coming in through from certain websites indicating that the problem is sacking Erik Ten Hag without winning an FA Cup and not being in Europe would have gone ahead to see Erik Ten Hag leave on a chip. But after Erik Ten Hag went ahead to win the the FA Cup, it took United into the UEFA Europa League, and they're supposed to compensate him £9 million. You get £9 million if you have to pay the compensation fee like for Dizabi, you know, that takes you to like 16 million pounds that you're supposed to pay for the incoming and outgoing manager. You understand? That is close to 20 million pounds. And in the situation that we are into, would you want to go into such a mess? I don't think so. I don't think so. Then Charlie Mazabuka, Ten Hag has a contract, and whatever is going on in the media. All right, let's wait and see. Greenwood is a quality player than Olise, and he will play under Ten Hag. He's not going to play under Erik Ten Hag. They want to sell him because they don't have money. They don't have money, and they want to see him register a pure profit for the club of Manchester United. So, guys, thank you very much for watching through. I'm gonna be watching the game of my national team, that is Uganda Cranes. It's gonna be playing against Algeria, and after that game, I'll be here to obviously bring you what update would have gone here to gate from the side of the people responsible for obviously getting us the news. Right now, it's still slow, and nothing is really coming in through as per now. But I tell you what, we are having stories for Todibo, Victor Osimhen, and very many others coming in through. And a story that's going to obviously piss me off, Sir Alex Ferguson pushing in for Poch. It's another one that is going to be coming up in here for you. So we'll be here to bring you the latest information as far as everything is really concerned. And having Mazabuka, Ineos did not tell anyone that they're sacking Erik Ten Hag. It's the media making stories. Erik Ten Hag still has a contract. Guys, how do you talk to another manager when you're really having a manager? That means you want to sack him. Why would they talk to Thomas Tuchel? You get? Why would they talk to Thomas Tuchel? It is confirmed by Christian Falk, Tier 1 journalist, Fabrizio Romano, Tier 1 journalist. If they are not talking to any managers, why don't they come out and put out stories through the United correspondents that they haven't gone ahead to talk to any managers? You know, I tell you, they like what is happening. And that's why at the end of it all, I've told you that these people trying to make themselves popular, and they are not all up to really building what we call the club of Manchester United. I'm having Kingsley. Erik Ten Hag is a good manager for Man United. All right, thank you for watching it through. Chizoba, thank you for the job you're doing. All right. But David, is media, they make money through stories. I understand they do. But if these stories were fake, Manchester United would have come out through their correspondence and refuted all of them. But those stories are right. Fabrizio Romano is not lying. Christian Falk is not lying. Mike is not lying from The Guardian. You get? Sammy McBoy is not lying. You get? There is a plan for them to sack Erik Ten Hag. That is it. The plan is there. The plan is there, guys. The plan is there. You get? But the factors are not favoring them to do it. These are the last that I'm really reading. Charles Malema, keep that man please for our own good. All right, you're talking about Erik Ten Hag. Twins, Chinonso, please let's start signing players. That's what we need. There is no time. You cannot sign a player before you obviously settle up the managerial situation at the club of Manchester United. David, I'm crying. Let's keep Erik Ten Hag. All right, so guys, I'm out. See you later. And I think